What is going on, everybody? And this is going to be my thoughts on the Bethesda and the Square Enix press conferences of E3 2015. So let's start off with Bethesda's press conference, and everybody was really looking forward to this one, not only because of one particular game that was announced before E3 that got everybody excited, but when a company can host its own press conference, that is supposed to mean that they got a lot of stuff in store for us in the future. So let's look at Bethesda's conference here. They started off the conference with the new Doom game, and people have been waiting for this for quite a long time. Doom is a very historic franchise. It arguably started the first-person shooter genre in gaming, and people were interested to see what Doom will look like in the current generation, and this kind of was like weird to me. It looked really cool and creepy and very bloody, but it also had kind of a cartoony look to it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just think it's kind of weird when you look at it. It's all the gore and the blood all over the place, but then it's got the cartoony way the enemies react and the way everything looks. It's just kind of funny. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just thought it was kind of funny. And then they showed off the multiplayer, and the multiplayer looked a lot of fun. And not only that, there's map customizations, and I think you'll be able to share PC maps with consoles or mods and stuff, kind of like Fallout 4 is going to do. That's what it looked like to me. I could be wrong, but a lot of different game modes you could play in this multiplayer. It just looks like a lot of fun. But what did disappoint me, though, honestly, no beta date. Now, some of these other games at E3 have revealed beta dates or time frames when the beta is coming out. We've been hearing about this Doom beta since the launch of Wolfenstein: The New Order, which came out in spring of 2014. Over a year ago. On the front of that box it says, you will be invited to the Doom beta. And here we are, over a year later, no Doom beta. You know, just give a date. Even if it's not coming out soon, just get some type of date at this point. So, okay. Then next they talked about Bethesda.net, where you can share mods across all platforms. I kind of already talked about that a little bit, but it's kind of cool that they have a website that's dedicated to do all this and organize all this stuff. It's really cool. Okay, then they showed off this game called Battle Cry, and it's a third-person hack-and-slash multiplayer game, and there's not much more I can really say about it because they didn't really show much about it. So, alright, here we go. They showed off Dishonored 2. And I really enjoyed the first Dishonored game. It does have its flaws, one being it's incredibly short, especially if you already know what you're doing. I beat the game in 2 hours. That's pretty short. That's pretty short. That's shorter than Call of Duty campaigns. But the first game got a lot of things right, and it has a lot of potential for a great sequel. And they showed off in this game that you can now play as Emily Caldwin, who was the little girl from the first game that you saved who became Empress. Now she's all grown up and you can play as her, so she's a female assassin. It's another little trend here. But you can also choose to play as her, and you can play as Corvo from the first game. So that's kind of cool how it gives you the choice, and apparently the missions will play out differently depending on who you choose. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to see more of this game, and I hope this game is a lot better than the first game. I hope they take all the good stuff from the first game and then just add to it. That's all I ask for. And then of course they announced the Dishonored Definitive Edition, which is the first game at a higher resolution. It's going to look better, and it's got all the DLC. So if you haven't played the first game, then I would definitely check that out if it's at a reasonable price. Alright. Then they talked about Elder Scrolls Online. It it just recently hit consoles, and it will not have the subscription plan, which is honestly the thing that really killed it on PC was the fact that they are going to charge you $60 for the game and then $15 a month after that. I'm sorry, but if you're going to do an online MMO type game, either do one of two things. Charge me $60 for the game, or $50, just a base price value. Or don't charge me a base price value, but then offer a subscription plan where I got to pay a certain money a month. Do either one. Don't do both, because that is going to backfire, and it definitely backfired on this game. And that is why there is no subscription for the console version. And that's not. I don't want people saying, "Oh, well, it's because it's the console version. That's why it doesn't have it." Final Fantasy XIV on PS4 and PS3 has a subscription fee, even though they charge you a base price on console. So they could have done it for here. The reason they didn't do it because it backfired on them. So okay, then they talked about the Elder Scrolls card mobile game, and it's also going to be on PC. Oh my god, why do they waste time talking about mobile games at E3? It is a complete freaking waste of time. The mobile game audience is not watching E3. And they're not at E3. So stop talking about mobile games. Stop. And they also talked about a Fallout mobile game as well. Mobile games, to me, are not video games. They are time wasters. So stop wasting time talking about them at E3 conferences. I beg you. Of course, they're not going to listen to that. And then, of course, they saved the best for last. Fallout 4. I can't wait to play this game. I'm still trying, at this moment, to get a Pip-Boy edition, collector's edition. They are hard to find. They are selling like hotcakes. I want one. I want a real Pip-Boy. That is really cool. I want it. So hopefully I get lucky and get one. But what's cool about Fallout 4 compared to the other ones is that the game will actually start before the nuclear explosion. So you actually get to see a Fallout universe before the explosions. Because before, you just saw pictures and you read stuff about it. You never actually got to see it in action, but you will in this game. And for the first time in a Fallout game, or at least one of the recent ones, you could play as a female in the beginning. You couldn't do that in the previous two Fallout games. You could only play as the guy. But now you can play as a female, so that's cool. And this game is set in Boston, so the rumors were true from many months ago that the Fallout team was on location in Boston. And that's why they were in Boston. They were looking over the locations. So it's kind of cool. Boston's not really a spot that's picked a lot in games, so should be cool to see. It looks amazing. The graphics look amazing, which honestly is saying a lot for a Bethesda game because they're not really known for the greatest graphics. I mean, the graphics aren't horrible, but they're not the best looking graphics either. But these look really good. So I can't wait for this game. It's coming out November this year. Day one buy for me. Hopefully I can get the Pip-Boy edition. I'm hoping. So that is the end of Bethesda's conference. Overall, really damn good conference, I have to say. Got a lot of great stuff to look forward to coming up in the future of Bethesda. Alright, so let's get into the Square Enix conference. And we got a lot to talk about here with the Square Enix conference. When I first heard that Square Enix was having a conference at E3, I immediately went, oh my god, they are going to show a bunch of stuff. And I have a feeling a lot of that stuff is something I want to see. So I got really excited to watch this conference. So let's see what happens. They started out with Just Cause 3, and the Just Cause games, I've seen them. They're open world. They're like Grand Theft Auto. They're open world. A lot of chaotic fun. I just really have never got the time to play those games. But they do look like a lot of crazy fun. There's a lot of customization. There's going to be a lot of mods. And they said the possibilities are endless. There's going to be a lot of online modes. This does look kind of intriguing, and I might just pick this one up if I have the available room when this comes out. And this game will be coming out December 1st, 2015, so not too far off. Then, of course, they showed Rise of the Tomb Raider. This looks very awesome. I really enjoyed the last Tomb Raider game. But what was also really cool about this is that they went in depth. They went behind the scenes with how they are creating the character models and the environments, and they really went in depth with how they're creating not just Laura's character models, but all of the character models in the game. It's just really intriguing stuff. I like that they did that behind the scenes thing. So, Tomb Raider looks a lot of fun. I can't wait to play. And then, of course, like Bethesda, Square Enix started talking about mobile games. But they went even farther than Bethesda did because they had many mobile games to talk about. Stop talking about mobile games. I don't want to hear about mobile games. It's like I said, mobile game audience is not watching E3. They're not into hardcore video games. Mobile games are just time wasters. So please stop. And Square Enix just went into this a lot, and it was really disappointing. But then they immediately bounced back with showing off what was already shown at the Sony conference, which was the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. I definitely am looking forward to how that's going to turn out. Excuse me. Final Fantasy VII at one point was one of my favorite Final Fantasies because that was one of the first ones I played. But since I've played more of them over the years, it's dropped a little bit, but it's still a really good Final Fantasy. I definitely am intrigued on how this remake is going to go down. Then they followed that up with, and I think this was a troll job by Square Enix. They mentioned Kingdom Hearts. You know, sucking us in right there, mentioning Kingdom Hearts. You know, people immediately stood up, they sat up, they got their jaw dropped, they were ready to be wowed by Kingdom Hearts 3. That's what everyone was expecting, but then they went Kingdom Hearts Mobile. Extreme troll job by Square Enix right there. Extreme troll job. I like Kingdom Hearts. I'm not buying the damn mobile game. But they did that on purpose, because then he immediately followed that up with Kingdom Hearts 3. Holy freaking shit. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks amazing. I've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 for almost 10 goddamn years now. And the last time they showed off Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay was at E3 2013. So we were well overdue for more footage of this game. And this game looks amazing. The graphics look great. It looks like it has really good draw distance, I noticed. Like, you could see a lot of the background, and when you're jumping off cliffs, and you can see lots of stuff on the ground. It didn't look like faded or fuzzy or anything, so that was really interesting. This looks like we're going to get new fighting styles in the battle system. That's intriguing. And I'm guessing these are the summons? Or maybe they're new magic spells, but apparently, and I'm going to assume they're summons, so sorry. This is what it looked like. That's what jumped out to me when I saw them. It looks like the summons are going to be Disney theme park rides. I think they could have done better with that. But then again, they might not be summons at all. But a lot of them were Disney theme park rides, so we'll have to see more of that. And then they ended it with now in development. The one thing I was hoping to hear from them was a release date for this damn game, because it's been so freaking long since the last console Kingdom Hearts game. And they say now in development, which is the exact same damn thing they said 2 years ago at E3. Oh my god. To me, this means it's not coming out anytime soon, which is very disappointing, because I want this so bad. And it's not just me, a lot of people want this so bad. And I know some people have told me that they don't want to set a release date because they're afraid they might not meet expectations. And a lot of people were thinking it's going to come out holiday 2016. I hope that's true. But I would think if it was truly coming out around that time, they would mention that, because they know people have been waiting this for a long time. And you want to get people happy and excited, and the best way to do that is to give them a date to look forward to. Even if it does get delayed, which would be disappointing, at least people would be happy up until then. But when you say now in development, that could mean 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. which is depressing. So, but regardless, it looks awesome, and I can't wait to play it whenever it comes out. Okay, then they talked about World of Final Fantasy, and I've already mentioned this in a previous video. This looks like a new Final Fantasy that is aimed at newer players. It's got a kiddie look to it, so maybe they consider it Final Fantasy for kids. I don't know, because they specifically say they're trying to attract new players. Well, it's like I say. If you want new people to play Final Fantasy, just let them play the actual Final Fantasy games, because there's a lot of Final Fantasy games in the core series. There's plenty of games to choose from, so just let them play the game. You don't have to make a game specifically to try to attract new players. So, okay, then they showed off the new Hitman game, which looks kind of cool. I've never really got into the Hitman series, but they look pretty cool. I just never got around to them. But this game looks like it's going to have a variety of locations. The actual Agent 47 from this game, and someone... You may disagree, or you may agree, I don't know, but it looks like the guy that's going to be in the upcoming Hitman movie. It kind of reminded me of him a lot, and maybe they did that on purpose because of the movie, so... But apparently this one, you're going to have lots of freedom on how you kill people, how you play out missions, and then you can replay missions once you unlock new things, to try new paths, and upload your high score online, see if you could beat your friend's score, see if they can beat your score. It looks like a lot of content, so... I'm looking forward to this, so we'll see what happens there. And then they started showing off some little games, and one of the games that caught my eyes was called Triad Wars. I'm sorry, but this looked exactly like Sleeping Dogs. This looked almost exactly, from the setting to how the game actually looked to how it played. It looked just like Sleeping Dogs. Now, I like Sleeping Dogs, but, you know, just make a Sleeping Dogs 2. Don't try to make the same, or make a game that looks just like that game and then just call it something else. I just think that's stupid. But that's just me. Then, of course, they talked about Final Fantasy 15, and unfortunately, they did not show any new gameplay from Final Fantasy 15, which was extremely disappointing. Because from what I've seen so far of Final Fantasy 15, it actually looks like it could redeem the Final Fantasy series after the horrible Final Fantasy 13 games, which I'm trying to forget exist. It's unfortunate no gameplay was shown because people were really looking forward to this game, but it is what it is. Then they talked about the new Star Ocean game, and my grandmother is a big fan of the Star Ocean series. She's played all the Star Ocean games. I personally have not played those games, so I can't really say much about the game, but I do know she's looking forward to it, so I was definitely intrigued on how this would look. It's going to be called Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. Now, that is a mouthful of a title right there. And of course, it's still in development. Now see, I'm not as upset about this as I am Kingdom Hearts 3 because they just announced the Star Ocean game like a month ago. So, for this to still be in development, you know, that's good. It makes sense to me. Graphics look really good. And the battle system looks exactly like the same as the previous games. But then again, they also said that everything from top to bottom is still in development. So, it could look completely different from the final product. So, and they said it's coming out in 2016. So that's not too far off, so really cool. We will get that game soon. And then finally, they talked about the new Deus Ex game, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and I'm really looking forward to this game. I really enjoyed Deus Ex Human Revolution. In this new Deus Ex game, Adam Jensen is back, so that's cool. And we will have new weapons and augmentations, which is cool. What is also intriguing about this game is that apparently the augmented people, which is what Adam Jensen is, are being segregated in the game. And they mentioned some form of like an apartheid. I think the word apartheid was used. And apparently that offended some people. And, you know, I'm sorry, but some of these games are trying to play off some real life issues here. And I actually admire some of these games for trying to tackle real life issues in their own creative way without outright using stuff that's happening in real life. So I'm definitely intrigued by this story. And I hope the game is just as good as Human Revolution. I hope there's a lot of different choices you can make. I hope you have a lot of freedom with how you play out missions. Because what's cool about the Deus Ex game is that you can either go in guns blazing and just kill everybody you want to kill, or you could just try to non-lethally get through the game and not kill a single person and go the stealth route. And I like that. I like those kind of choices. So they also mentioned that this is going to be coming out early 2016. So that is definitely good news. It seems like early 2016 is going to be jam-packed now. So, alright, that is it for the Square Enix and Bethesda conferences. Both conferences were really good. The only thing I didn't care for is, once again, they wasted time talking about mobile games. Stop talking about mobile games at E3. I know they won't. I'm hoping if I say it enough, maybe we'll have some type of effect, but you know what, that's probably I'm wasting my time there. But yeah, other than talking about mobile games, top to bottom games, no filler, got a lot of stuff to look forward to in the future. So, alright, let me know what you think, and stay tuned for more E3 videos. Have a good one.